Hello everybody. So in last session we spoke about descending pathways. So this session we are moving on to the ascending pathways, or we call it as a somatosensory pathway. So I hope you all remember the basics that I gave you during last class. So I explained what is an upper motor neuron, what is a lower motor neuron, and descending motor pathway, which means it comes down. Okay, so descending motor pathways, efferent pathway, and from your cortex it comes to your spinal cord or the other subcortical levels. And whereas if you take an ascending pathway, it is a sensory pathway, so it consists of an afferent fibers. So it is going to arise from your peripheries or from certain receptors located anywhere in the body, and final destination is going to be on the cortex. Okay, so this is also called as your ascending pathway. Okay, so I hope you all remember this basic concept. So today's session, I'll be discussing types of ascending tracts. So how the ascending tracts, whatever is present in our body, is being broadly classified. And I will not be discussing about all the pathways. Instead, I'll be focusing on two things that are important for your university exam: dorsal column pathway and then spinothalamic tracts. Dorsal column pathway is a very important short note. Okay, and spinothalamic tracts is not a frequently asked short note, but in practicals, examiners love to ask questions. Last year, I was fired with questions on spinothalamic tract only. Okay, so a very important aspect from your practical point of view. So we will just discuss some basics that you will require for the somatosensory pathway. Okay, to understand this, see, let us take an example. Okay, so from your hometown, okay, say suppose we'll assume Chennai. Okay, so from Chennai, you are traveling all the way to your favorite destination. Say suppose I can say Bangalore. Okay, so you are traveling from Chennai to Bangalore. You are going to access the highways, and we all know we will not be allowed to travel just like that. Okay, so we will be having lots of checkpoints, okay, in form of police barricades, or especially we have this toll gates, like for every 100 or 120 kilometers we'll have a toll gates. Okay, so we will have a toll gate 1, we will have a toll gate 2, we have a toll gate 3, so on, and finally we reach the destination. Similarly, if you take in a somatosensory pathway, we are going to have origin. Okay, that we all know it is going to be some form of a receptor, and the nerve fiber is going to travel to its favorite destination, like how you people all travel to Bangalore. And the favorite destination of a somatosensory tract is going to be to your cortex. Okay, somatosensory cortex, if you all know, it is going to primarily belong to area 3, 1 and 2. Okay, so you would have done cerebrum, so you all, I hope you all know all that. Okay, so 3, 1, 2. So this is its favorite destination. So it begins with a receptor. Its destination is going to be on the cortex, somatosensory cortex, area 3, 1 and 2. Like how we cannot travel freely from our origin to your destiny or destination. Similarly, in our body also, these nerve tracts is not going to directly be connected to the destination. Instead, we are going to have some toll gates or checkpoints. Here we call them as order neurons. What do we call here? We call them as order neurons. So if you take, we will be having 3 checkpoints. It's a definite checkpoint. Okay, 3 checkpoints. The first checkpoint is called as first order neuron, which means the neuron that is going to submit the order from the receptor for the very first time. That is called as a first order neuron. Next, we have something called second order neuron. Okay, so which is going to receive the order for the second time, or the neuron that receives in the second place. And finally, we have a third order neuron. And from this third order neuron, it goes to the destination, that is your somatosensory cortex. So when we study the pathways, you need to know the location of the first order neuron. You need to know the location or the name of the second order neuron, and you should know something on third order neuron. So when I am going to discuss these pathways, I'll be insisting only on these terminologies. I'll be telling first order neuron, second order neuron, third order neuron. So you should know what are all these. So these are all some checkpoints. So now where are these checkpoints located? If you ask me from Chennai to Bangalore, you take the GST road. So where all you will come across toll gates? I can say you first toll gate you will come across in Dindivanam, then at Chengalpettu. So I can give some definite points, right? So similarly, if you take for this roadmap also, somatosensory road, I'll be able to actually define these checkpoints. So if you take this first order neuron, okay, before that, we will just see some points regarding spinal cord. So I have discussed all this already, right? So if you remember, again, please do not mind my diagram. Okay, I'm very bad at this. Okay, so please understand. I hope you all remember. So, okay, so here you'll be having the spinal cord like this. Okay, this should come in center. Please, I'm really sorry. Okay, so if you take, we'll just go on this portion alone. Okay, so we have something called horns, right? So we have a dorsal horn, intermediate horn, lateral horn, ventral horn, all this, right? So if you take, this is your dorsal horn, intermediate on your lateral horn, and then your ventral horn. So I have discussed in my last video itself. So ventral roots will always be motor and dorsal root is always sensory, which means all your somatosensory pathway is related to your dorsal horn of your spinal cord. What is it related to? Dorsal horn of the spinal cord. So if you take this first order neuron is going to actually reach this dorsal horn of the spinal cord. So how it is going to reach? Like how I told you, from Chennai, you can come via GST road and reach your toll gate, or you can go through ECR. So I have so many routes, right? So what is the route taken by the nerve fiber arising from receptor is? So from the receptor, it very beautifully comes and it is going to relay in the dorsal root ganglion. So we have something called DRG, that stands for dorsal root ganglion. So from that, it is going to actually reach your dorsal root and then your dorsal horn. Okay, so ultimately, the somatosensory, the first order neuron from your receptor is going to travel all the way along the dorsal root ganglion and reach your dorsal horn of your spinal cord. Okay, now from the first order, it has to next, what is this next checkpoint that we are going to have? Next checkpoint can be within your spinal cord or it can be in your brain stem. We have two options now. Like we will say, right, if you take GST road, we'll have so many tolls coming in, whereas if you take ECR, we have only limited number of tolls. Okay, so we do this calculation, right? Similarly, if you take, even in our spinal cord, we are going to have some difference in your location of this toll gate. Okay, so in some cases, the second order neuron can be within the spinal cord, or in some cases, it is going to be within the brain stem. Okay, so if you take the second order neuron is going to be located at the brainstem in case of a dorsal column. Very important question. Okay, so the ascending pathway where second order neuron is related to your brainstem. So it is related to brainstem in a dorsal column pathway, which we'll be seeing shortly. And if you take second order neuron is present within the spinal cord in case of a spinothalamic tract. So both will be a discussion objectives today. Okay, so dorsal column is going to be in the brainstem, and if you take within the spinal cord, it is going to be in the spinothalamic tract. So that's why spinothalamic, you remember like this. Okay, so spinothalamic, spinal cord, and this is going to be in the brainstem. So what is the role of the second order neuron? Now I have told you first order neuron is going to convey the order for the very first time from the receptor to your spinal cord. Second order neuron oda role enna appadina, these second order neurons, they are going to actually transfer the impulse that they received from this first order neuron to your thalamus. Okay, to a structure called as thalamus. To be more specific, to the opposite side of the thalamus. What is the meaning? Say suppose I have a receptor that is being stimulated on my right side. Okay, so that sensation is going to be received by the left side part of the thalamus. This is what I need to understand. Okay, so which means these second order neurons, they are actually going to cross the midline. Very important, excuse me. So second order neurons are going to cross the midline and going to reach the opposite side of the thalamus. You're able to understand? Next is your third order neuron, wherein from your nuclei of the thalamus, it is going to actually carry the information to the destination. That is your somatosensory cortex, area number 3, 1, and 2. This you need to understand now. Okay, so what is the meaning of first order neuron? So from the receptor to your dorsal root ganglion and the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Second order neuron. So second order neuron role in second order neuron is just going to carry the impulse received from the first order neuron to the opposite side of the thalamus. So this can be located either in your spinal cord or in your brainstem. And we have a beautiful group of neuron called as third order neuron that is actually going to take this impulse present in the thalamus to your destination, that is your cortex. Okay, somatosensory cortex, area number 3, 1 and 2. Okay, so this framework you should understand, that then your pathway is going to be easy. So I hope I made this framework simple. Now we will move on. So as I told you, my first objective is to discuss on the various types of ascending pathways that we have. Okay, so it can be grouped into 3. We have something called dorsal column pathway. Okay, we'll be discussing on that. And we have something called anterolateral system. So that will actually include your spinothalamic tract. Okay, we will have 2 types, anterolateral. So which means we are going to have an anterior spinothalamic tract. We are going to have a lateral spinothalamic tract. So we'll have two tracts in the system. And other groups include like your spinotectal, spino-olivary, spino-reticular, spino-cerebellar, spino-pontine. Okay, which means all these are going to arise from the spinal cord and it is going to different parts of your brain. So tectal, okay, which means your tectum, olivary, which means olivary nucleus, reticular formation, cerebellar to the cerebellum, pontine, pons. Okay, so this is all about this. Okay, so we will be concentrating only on dorsal column and your anterolateral system. So just recall the 3 toll gates that we came across the somatosensory pathway. Okay, so this is a picture taken from Hindu Kurana textbook. So this is actually telling you different relation of different tracts with your spinal cord. Okay, so if you take this portion, we'll be having your dorsal column pathways. Okay, and then he has given spinocerebellar tract, what is going to happen, lateral spinothalamic. Okay, so all this just for the information I have put. Okay, so I just want you all to get oriented to what is actually happening. Okay, so this is a picture to just show where every tract is going to arise from which part of spinal cord. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, now we will move on to dorsal column pathway. A very important MCQ, very important Viva question. So name some sensations carried by dorsal column pathway. Okay, so we'll just see the names of sensations, and I have got a very beautiful acronym, I believe. I'll tell you that. Okay, so if you take, what are the different sensations? Vibration. Okay, then fine touch, proprioception. Proprioception means position sense. Tactile localization, tactile discrimination, stereognosis. Okay, so tactile localization means, suppose I take a pointed object. Okay, so I will ask the patient to close the eyes and I'll just prick the person with the pointed object. So if he is actually able to exactly point out the position where I pricked him, then that is tactile localization. Tactile discrimination, if he is able to actually discriminate 2 distinct points, then that is called tactile discrimination. That we will learn in practical. Okay, I'm just giving you an overview. Stereognosis is the ability of an individual to actually understand the object, okay, when he is in closed position, which means we will instruct the subject to close his eyes, okay, and we'll be giving him an object like a sharpener, eraser, pen, or some kind of an object that the patient is familiar with, like a key or a keychain. Okay, so we will ask the subject to hold that object with the eyes closed, and we asked him to recognize the object. Okay, so the ability of the patient or the subject to recognize an object in closed eye position. I'll repeat. Okay, in closed eyes, if a subject is able to recognize an object that he is holding, then that is called stereognosis. Okay, so all these are some sensations that is carried by the dorsal column pathway. So we have around 6, right? So we'll just get a beautiful acronym here to remember. We find physiology teacher teaching stereognosis. We find physiology teacher teaching stereognosis. So V stands for vibration, F stands for fine touch, T stands for proprioception, T stands for tactile localization, another T stands for tactile discrimination, and finally stereognosis. So we find physiology teacher teaching stereognosis. Okay, so this is an acronym for your sensations carried by dorsal column pathway. So now we need to understand how this pathway is going. Okay, it's a very good picture taken from G.K. Paul. Okay, so if you take C, dorsal root ganglion, so this will be your first order neuron. Here we need to understand one thing. So see, this portion, if we have a circle and then a V-shaped structure, that is actually a relay center, we say, which means one neuron is going to go and terminate there. That is a relay center. So I told you a second order neuron is going to be located in the brainstem. So medulla is a part of the brainstem. So the second order neuron of your dorsal column is going to lie in your brainstem. So this entire portion is your first order neuron. This is your second order neuron. You remember I told you second order neuron is going to cross to the opposite side to get into the opposite side of the thalamus. So this is your second order neuron and this is your third order neuron. So we have three types. Okay, we'll just mark it, then you'll be understanding. So this is your third order neuron. This is your second order neuron. And this is your first order neuron. Okay, guys. Okay. So we'll be talking about each and every part. So we'll start with first order neuron. Okay, so dorsal column, if you take, we are actually going to have two sets of fibers arising. So I told you there are going to be about 6 sensations that is going to be carried by this pathway. So these sensations like vibration, your fine touch, proprioception, so this is going to be with your upper limb, this is with your lower limb, this is with even your trunk muscles, right? So from every part of the body, from your upper limb, trunk and lower limb, these sensations has to be carried. So if there's going to be only one type of fiber carrying sensation from every part, it is going to be difficult for our system to actually recognize from where these sensations are coming. So our body is designed, we have two sets that is going to carry from different parts. So if you take, there is going to be something called gracilis. Okay, so if you take this green color portion, it refers to your gracilis funiculus. Okay, so if you take, fasciculus. Okay, so if you remember gracilis fasciculus, so this green color is a gracilis fasciculus. Okay, so this is going to lie more medially. It's the very first point that you must know. So this gracilis fasciculus pathway is going to lie more medially. So it is going to carry the listed sensations from your lower extremity, which means your lower limbs and then your lower trunks. Okay, so if you want to understand this, again I'll tell you, if you write A, B, C, D in an order, okay, C is going to be in your upper part and G is going to be in the lower part, right? If you in an alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, F, G, right? So G is in the lower part, so it is going to carry sensations from the lower part. Lower part na in a specific what we can say, from lower extremity, which means your lower limb and the lower trunk. Next we have cuneatus. Okay, cuneate. Okay, so cuneate fasciculus. So C lies above in the alphabetical order, so it carries sensations listed above from your upper limbs and then your upper trunk. So this green is your gracilis, that is actually going to carry sensations from what? From your lower limb and then your lower part of your trunk. And we have this red fibers that is actually called as cuneate, that is going to carry sensations from your upper limb and then your upper trunk. So very beautiful. It is going to go via dorsal root ganglion, dorsalon, and it ascends upwards. Okay, very next flow chart, what you will write, it ascends upwards. Okay, once it ascends upwards, it is going to go all the way till your brainstem, that too in the medulla, where it relays on its respective nuclei, where you have the second order neuron. What is that? From origin, it goes via dorsal root ganglion, it ascends upwards to the medulla, where it terminates, okay, in the respective nuclei, which means this gracilli will terminate in the nucleus gracilis and your cuneatus will not terminate in the nucleus cuneatus. And these two are collectively called as dorsal column nuclei. What is it called? Dorsal column nuclei. And these constitute your second order neurons. Okay, so from origin ascends upwards to medulla and it is going to terminate in the dorsal column nuclei. Okay, so from your dorsal column nucleus, as I told you, always your second order neuron is going to cross the midline, ascend upwards to reach your opposite side of the thalamus. So the same story. Okay, so dorsal column nuclei, it crosses the midline, it ascends upwards along your medial lemniscus and reaches the thalamus. So if you take medial lemniscus, it is actually a part of a white matter that is going to actually go to your thalamus. Okay, so you'll be studying in the brainstem of anatomy. Okay, so at different levels we will be studying different structures. So just understand medial lemniscus is going to be part of your brainstem. Okay, that is going to contains some white fibers that ascends upwards to your thalamus. Okay, so it is going to go along with your medial lemniscus and reach your opposite side of the thalamus. Okay, so opposite side of the thalamus, to be very specific, it is going to relay in your VL nucleus, ventrolateral nucleus, and then VPL, ventroposterolateral nucleus. Okay, so actually your books is not specifying for a second order. He has not told any specific nuclei. Okay, so here he has simply mentioned specific relay nuclei. So you just include VL and VPL. Okay, and even sometimes your dorsal nucleus can also come. Okay, so just write always VPL, VL. It is more safe. Okay, so dorsal nucleus crosses the midline, medial lemniscus, and then it is going to go and relay on your thalamus. This is about your second order neuron. Then if you take third order neuron, see from your ventrolateral aspect of your thalamus, ventrolateral nucleus. Okay, so here I should mention nuclei. So from your ventrolateral nuclei of the thalamus, it goes to its destination, that is your somatosensory cortex. That is actually area 3, 1 and then 2. Okay, so this is about your dorsal column pathway. So quickly we will recap. So we saw we have two types. I'll just take an highlighter so that I'll be able to highlight. So we have gracilis, we have cuneatus. So gracilis lies medially and cuneatus lies laterally. So in alphabetical order, G lies below. So gracillae, fibers from this gracilla fasciculus contains or carries sensations from your lower lip and then your lower part of your trunk, whereas cuneate, it lies in the upper part of your alphabetical order. So these nerve fibers, it is going to carry the sensations from your upper limb and the upper part of the trunk. Then it goes, ascends upwards. Okay, related to dorsal root ganglion, dorsal on, ascends upwards. Okay, wherein gracillae lies medially, cuneatus lie laterally. A very important point that you must mention. Okay, then ascends upwards. Okay, terminates in its second order neuron nucleus where it is present in your brainstem. Okay, so or you can say terminates in your respective nucleus and collectively it is called as dorsal column nucleus. So till this your first order neuron is done. Next we'll move on to second order neuron. So from your medulla, that is from your dorsal column nuclei, the fibers are going to cross to the opposite side. It is going to be related to the medial lemniscus and reach your thalamus. Okay, so VPL and the VL nuclei of the thalamus. Now, so this is your second order neuron. Okay, so now from your VPL, VL of your nucleus, okay, so ventrolateral nuclei of the thalamus, there are going to be some fibers that arises and finally it is going to terminate in your somatosensory cortex, that is your area 3, 1 and 2. So this is your dorsal column pathway. So what are these 6 sensations carried? We find physiology teacher teaching stereognosis. So vibration, fine touch, proprioception, tactile localization, tactile discrimination, and finally stereognosis. Okay, so this is regarding your dorsal column pathway. Now we will move on to anterolateral system, a very simple pathway to actually study. So if you take anterior, that is anterolateral system, as I told you, that is actually including your spinothalamic tract, and we are going to have two systems, an anterior spinothalamic tract and a lateral spinothalamic tract. So if you take anterior spinothalamic tract, it is actually going to carry sensation of crude touch. Okay, so if you take dorsal column pathway, we saw fine touch. Okay, so what is the difference between fine touch and a crude touch? See, to be very simple, I just want to make it very simple. Fine touch is which means you are just going to have a pleasant touch. Okay, crude touches, you are just going to press something very harder. Okay, so you just try to analyze the bicep of your friend. Okay, so what you try to do, you just try to squeeze his bicep, right? So that is a crude touch. Any pressurized touch is actually called as a crude touch. And if you take lateral spinothalamic tract, we are going to have two sensations being carried. Okay, we have your pain and then your temperature. Okay, so I hope your receptors would have been done. So they would have told you. Okay, so temperature. So the receptor that is concerned with your temperature is your thermoreceptors. What is that? Thermoreceptors. And with your touch, it is called as your mechanoreceptors. And pain, nociceptors. Okay, nociceptors, they call it is like nocireceptors that is combined to form nociceptors. Okay, so these are the three different group of receptors. So crude touch is by your mechanoreceptors. Okay, I hope you all know, and this is by your nociceptors. NOCICEPTORS. Okay, so again, I hope handwriting is understandable to some extent. Nociceptors. Okay, so if you observe this picture, this blue corresponds to your anterior spinothalamic tract. This red refers to your lateral spinothalamic tract. So under red, if you see, we have this pain and temperature that has been highlighted. Under your violet, we see this crude touch which has been highlighted. Okay, so which means in any part of the body where we have this pain and temperature that has to be carried. Okay, so we have this lateral spinothalamic tract. So if you understand, in your dorsal column C, we have this relay center here. Okay, I told you, right, a V and a circle. But here if you take, we have right in the spinal cord, which means this is your second order neuron. So second order neuron is located within your spinal cord. I told you in the introduction in case of a spinothalamic tract. So till this is your first order, and here begins your second order neuron. Okay, so second order neuron is going to relay in the thalamus. So this entire portion is your second order neuron, and as usual, this is your third order neuron. So you will start with the same story. Okay, so via your dorsal root ganglion, dorsalon, it enters your spinal cord where it relays on the second order neuron. In case of a dorsal column, you will say there is no relay in spinal cord. It ascends upwards. You will tell the relation with respect to midline, that is gracilis medially, cuneatus laterally. Then you will talk about relay center in the medulla. Whereas here, if you take, it is going to relay in the spinal cord itself, in the second order neuron. And this second order neuron, same story, it crosses the midline, okay, ascends upwards, okay, and then there is no relay in the medulla, and it directly relays in your thalamus. Here, if you take, we have this VPL playing a major role. There it was VL. Here it is VPL. Along with that, we have some other nuclei playing a role, that is intralaminar nuclei. So we have VPL, we have IL. Okay, so VPL and the intralaminar nuclei. Okay, so again from your thalamus, we have third order neuron that is going to carry to your somatosensory cortex. So what you need to present, the story till here is very same. So it crosses the midline. Here you need to just add one more point in your flow chart. So the fiber that is going to carry the sensation of crude touch, or the fiber arising from your mechanoreceptors, it is going to lie more anteriorly and constitutes your anterior spinothalamic tract. Okay, so if you take, this lies posteriorly when compared to this, right? So this, since it lies anteriorly, we call it as an anterior spinothalamic tract. Okay, so anterior spinothalamic tract is going to lie more anteriorly, so which is responsible for crude touch, and we have this which lies laterally, and it is carrying no pain and temperature. Hence, it is called as a lateral spinothalamic tract. So both ascends together, like the same story where we saw in gracilis cuneatus, the same story. Okay, relays in the thalamus. Here you should talk about VPL. There it was VL, here it was VPL. Okay, so thalamus, and it is going to go and relay in your somatosensory cortex. Okay, so this is regarding anterior spinothalamic part. And this, since it is a very short pathway, I don't think it can come in short notes. But this slide is very important for your practicals. What is crude touch? What pathway is concerned? What is pain pathway? Okay, so I was really fired with so many questions. My examiner, she started with crude touch. She went to pain pathway. She went to then hypothalamus. So this is how they will link. Okay, so this slide is very important. Okay, so please be very thorough with this slide. Okay, since because of my personal experience, I hope you are all understanding how much I would have gone through that time, because I did not study these pathways so seriously. I regretted for not doing that. Okay, so please don't do all that. Study this with an interest. Okay, so please study these pathways. I'll be discussing your clinicals in coming slides. Okay, so we'll have a separate session on lesions, wherein you need to just understand every pathway. So I'll be just telling, if lesion happens here, what will happen? If lesion happens here, what will happen? It'll be very interesting, because unless and until you are thorough with the pathways, it is very difficult to understand lesions. So very important, you should go with your dorsal column pathway. I hope I made it clear. And this basic toll gate. Okay, please do not forget this concept of toll gates. Okay, so that's it for the session. A very simple session, but a very important session also. Okay, so we will meet in the next session. Thank you all.